Want to make your own worm tea? Want to bottle it up to sell? In this video, we're going to have two variations. One is a simple setup you can do at home, really just bare bones. And the next is going to be more advanced with more ingredients in there for a very, very, very superior product. Stick around and I'll show you everything that goes into this. Hey, it's Robbie, MissouriWormSupply. Alright, we're going to go over your basic supplies that you're going to need to make worm tea. We're going to start with the simplest we can get out there. 5-gallon bucket, just an empty food grade 5-gallon bucket is what you want. Second thing you're going to need is something for air. You can get you a little bubbler, a little fish bubbler from Walmart. These things are really cheap. You pick these things up, they're like $1, $5 at garage sales. You just want something that's going to push some oxygen. A little strand of hose and you plug it in. Now, there's a big no-no that a lot of people don't know about. The blue air stones, or like this air stone. This one's weighted. A lot of people can put that on there, or they put this type of air stone on the end of a hose and they drop it in there. Makes more bubbles. When you get to the science of it, it doesn't matter if you have one of these or if you're pumping straight air. This machine is going to put out the same volume of air, whether it's going through a diffuser, a stone diffuser, or not. Big bubbles, little bubbles, doesn't matter. You get the same amount of oxygen. I know it looks prettier if you're using these. The key with these, let me come over there. I don't know if you can see on there or not, that kind of brown skim that's on there. We used this a couple times. We had a soil biologist tell us these are a super big no-no. What happens is you use this, if it's a one-time use, hey, you're good. Throw that stone away. But when you use this, that brown scum on there, there's bad bacteria that builds on there. It'll accumulate, and actually it's there. It's in a dormant state. Now when you use this in your tea, you're actually adding or introducing bad bacteria to your tea. So get away from these things here. Don't use these. Now if you're not using a stone, but you want this bubbler to stay in the bottom, you can take a zip tie. We just tied a bolt on there. Just zip tie it on there, stays in the bottom. You can use a bread wrapper or anything like that. If you don't have a bolt, you can use a nut, do the same thing. Use a couple of washers, use some lead weights. You just want that air bubbler to stay in the bottom. Now that's the simple setup. What you'll need from here is to ask yourself what you're using your tea for. If you're going to use your tea and you're going to bottle this up, and you're going to sell it at the market or to your friends or what have you, you're going to have to filter it. So there's a couple variations or ways you can do this. We'll start with 5-gallon bucket paint strainer. You get one of these. They sell these at Lowe's or Sherwin-Williams. These fit in your bucket. Wrap around there like so. Now, you can put your material in here, like if this was your castings, you put your material in there, let your brew do its thing, and when you're done, pull this off. These are reusable several times. What's in here will be relatively clean. This is a 400 micron filter. These I think are about $3 at Sherwin-Williams. Next variation, go to a coffee shop or a tea shop. These are tea bags. I don't really care for these that much. I think they're closer to a 600 micron or 200 micron. They're a bigger particle hole. And there's more particles to get out of here. The big reason if you're selling this to people who are using it as a foliage spray, why you do not want any particles. Next variation, the cone-shaped mesh paint strainer. Come in a package like this. This here's what they look like. That's when you're pouring paint. You know, you pour your paint in there. All the good, pretty paint comes out. Any chunks stay in there. You can do this. You'll scoop from here, from this into another container. And then you'll have to rinse this out several times while you're doing it, but you're going to get a clean product at the bottom. Only thing is, this is paper, so when it gets wet, it's done. It's a one and done type thing. Kind of a cumbersome product. The next thing is pantyhose and a funnel. Now, I only wore these pantyhose once. I'm not supposed to tell them that? Okay. So you get yourself a new set of pantyhose. Just put it over your funnel. Now this pantyhose, you put it in your bottle. Again, you're going to scoop. You're going to pour through the pantyhose and filter out the fine particles. That's even if you're not even using, you don't even have to use a bag if you're using all this. You're going to filter that out. It is a very time-consuming process to do this, but it's doable. Now, if you're making this compost tea for a direct pour, you're not worried about putting in a sprayer or spraying it or a mister system or anything, and you're just going to pour this on the base of your plants, by all means, just put everything in there. There's no need for a filter or bag or anything. What we like to use are these zip-up bags from Earthfort. I'll go ahead and let you know now, I'm going to show you several products. You're going to see the name brands on these products, and we are no way affiliated with any of these people. We don't get kickbacks. We're not making any money off if you go to this company and you buy this from Earthfort. They don't care. We don't care. I'm not making anything. These bags are tough. You're not tearing these up. These things will last you years and years and years. On the bad side, this is about a $40 bag. It's not cheap. This will do a 5-gallon bucket nicely. Okay. So at that point, you know, if you're just going to be pouring this straight on your plants, you don't even need the bags. You just put all your ingredients in here. You brew for a certain time. I will show you up here on the screen in a minute. By temperature, there is a time. If it's 60 degrees, your tea needs to brew for X amount of hours. If it's 100 degrees, it needs to brew for X amount of hours. There's a lot of misinformation out there where people are saying, oh, brew for 24 hours and you're good. You're going to get some benefits, but if you brew at the correct temperature and time together, you're going to get the best product. And that's the goal, is to get the best product. You're making this worm tea to either put on the plants or garden stuff for yourself or to sell it. And if you could spend a couple extra hours letting this sit over in the corner and do its thing, but you're going to get a better product out to your customer, that would be the route to go. Again, this is the simple. One bucket, one air bubbler, doesn't matter, it's just an air bubbler, it's cheap. There's some sort of way to filter that before you put it in the bottle. Now, the main reason, big reason you want to filter that before you bottle this up and give it to somebody is a lot of people are going to put this in a pump-up sprayer. They're going to go out and they're going to spray all their plants. You have us. We have watering systems. We have above water misters that will mist our plants in our greenhouse. If that debris that you don't clean out of your tea gets in those misters, it is a pain in the butt to get out and clean your system out. And if I was buying somebody's worm tea and I'm getting debris in it, it's clogging up my misters, we only got a 12-foot by 10-foot greenhouse. If somebody has a 100-foot greenhouse and you start clogging up all those misters and water lines, they're not going to buy from you no more. Just keep that in mind. So if you can get all that debris out of there and make sure there's nothing in there, they can run it through the underground misters. They can run it above ground misters, pump-up sprayers, the ones that go on the back of your tractors or your four-wheelers and such, battery operated. That's what you want. You want a very clean product to bottle up and ship out. Okay. Ingredients on the simple setup. Or one other thing, if you've got this set up and you're just putting a bubbler in here and you're running it, let's say it's going to be a 24-hour brew, because that's what the temperature tells us to do. You just dump your stuff right in there. No need for bag. You take a big paint stick. Every so often, maybe get up in the morning, mix all that material up in there really good. If you're like me and you get up in the morning, you go to work, mix it up before you go to work. As soon as you get home, mix it up again. That night before you go to bed, mix it up again. That way, all the mixture that's in there, and all the sugars and everything gets to work, gets good and oxygen. All right, let's put this over to the side. And I'll get with the ingredients for this simple mix here in just a second. We're going to move to the advanced system or setup, what we like to use. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Now this is our setup that we like to use. My 5-gallon bucket set up here. I have a lid. I have a different type bubbler system, an industrial air pressure down here. I have a spigot. You can see our spigot is above the ground. That's why when you put it on the flat surface, you don't break your spigot. You move it all around. Now you can get this spigot. I'll bring it over here. These are cheap. They're like $2, $3 a piece online on Amazon. Again, we don't get any money off that. I believe it's a 5/8 hole. You'll drill through your bucket. You have a washer here that goes through your bucket. You put the washer on the inside of the bucket, and then the nut there. Tighten it all up real good, and you get this. With this spigot here, when your tea is done brewing, you just fill it up, just like that. Real simple, real handy, you're not getting all nasty. Okay, again with this system, food grade 5-gallon bucket, get your 5-gallon bucket lid. If you like one that has the 4 tabs, you can see those 4 tabs, they pop on and pop off really easy. You don't have to have this. We like to put it on there. One, it keeps the air bubbles quieter. It's here in our garage. 2, if there's any splash, you're not getting that warm tea everywhere. All right. Now we have been, we're on city water out here. So when we use city water, we bubble this for 24 or 48 hours. We do this for a couple reasons. One, you want this water to be the same temperature as your room. It won't do you any good to follow the instructions I'm going to give you with the times and temperatures. If your room you're doing the brew in is at 70 degrees, but your water's at 50 degrees, everything's going to be off. You're going to want this to be the correct water or ambient temperature. Alright, so we got our 5-gallon bucket. Again, this is food grade. Got our 5-gallon bucket lid. As you can see, I've cut a notch out for this, which I'll show you this here in a minute. You don't have to have this, but if you put this on here and pop it on there, it keeps it a little bit quieter, but also any splashes don't come out and stain your basement or make a big mess anymore. Put that over the side. Again, we have our spigot, which is down here. We can open this up and fill up our bottles. Alright, our water is city water, so it's got chlorine, chloramine, and all these horrible, horrible things in there. We do run a chlorine filter back here. We have a salt filter over here and a whole house filter. We try our best to get our water as clean as can be. There's also another option. There's 2 more options. One is you bubble this off. You degas that chlorine, and that's what we're doing now with this. Even though I know there's no chlorine in there, we still degassing it off. The reason for that is I want this water temperature to be room temperature. I don't want 50-degree water in a 70-degree room. Then the instructions I will give you with times and temperatures, they won't correlate correctly. For just for kicks, you put your bubble in there. Let's get any excess gases or any excess chlorine that's there. Now it can get bubbled off, oxygenated off. Here's another place you can get your water from. If you've got a little pond, little koi pond or goldfish pond, like we have here, it's our little wellhouse pond. You can take your 5-gallon bucket of water from this. This has already got fish poop in it, per se. Got little fishies. And this water right here will work perfectly. Okay, this is our bubbler system right here. This is a 2-piece system. This will actually come out of here. This is from T-Lab. This on the bottom has air holes all through here. It goes in our bucket and actually goes right up underneath that little spigot. Holds it in spot. This will work on a 5-gallon bucket. In correlation with the air pump I'll show you here in a second, will work with a 50-gallon drum. So again, I'm in no affiliation. I have no affiliation with T-Lab. If T-Lab would like to send me something, hit me up. I'll give you my address. It comes with a small air hose, a couple pieces. Now here's what you get. You need to order this. This is what you get with the kit, excluding this blue line. This is an industrial air pump, Eco Plus. 793 gallons per minute is what this thing will run. Comes with the pump, comes with the output hose, and from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valves. We're just running one valve. The part that we like about this is the air hose that you get from your aquarium shop and the air hose they send. That one just slides right in there. That's it. Now when you plug this in, you get all that glorious, glorious air. I'm hoping you guys can see that from over there. It's just rolling this water. Let me bring you in a little closer. Right here in a second, whenever I start adding ingredients to this, it's going to turn it a different color. You'll really see how much that water is rolling with the air right there. We'll go ahead and put this down here and unplug it again. If you're doing your cheap version, your quick version, just something you can use at your house. If you're not bottling it up, all you need to do is take 2 cups of castings, drop it in here. Obviously, this will be full of water that's been bubbling for you. Then you take 1 tablespoon of molasses. What we would do, this is Grandma's that comes from Walmart, unsulfurated molasses. We put it in with hot water. That way it mixes up faster. You pour this into your mix here. Stir that whole thing up really good. You want molasses and the castings to really get mixed up in there together. And that's going to start your brewing process. From this point, you're going to follow along with the time and temperature chart that I'm going to show you a little bit later. But now you just set it down and you just let it do its thing and you mix it up. This is with no bag. If you're using a bag like this, you can put all your ingredients, you can put your castings in this, just drop it in the bag and let it do its thing. You can massage this every once in a while to get everything mixed up in it if you want. But that's your basic worm tea. And then when it gets through brewing, you can start straining it into bottles, or if you're just doing it to pour on your plants and your gardens or use for your seeds, there's no sense in straining that out. Pour it everywhere, what you have left, so there'll be muddy mush at the bottom. Put that on your plants. That's a great soil amendment that is high in all the bacteria and fungal in there that you need. All right, I'm going to put this on the side. We're going to start with recipe number 2. All right, we're back. Now we're going to start with recipe number 2. Not only am I going to show you and tell you what to put in here, I'm going to tell you why you're putting it in there. It's one of the things that I see a lot of people, they put stuff in their castings, they don't know why they put in there. Somebody told them, hey, put this in there. Okay, but they don't know why they're putting it there. So we're going to start with our bag. Again, this is our bag from Earth Fort. It's probably about a $40 bag. We're putting 2 cups of castings in our bag. We just pulled this from our CFT. We got 2 cups of castings. Obviously, you're making worm casting tea. There's your castings. But what we're doing is we're going to take millions of bacteria, and fungi, and protozoa. We're going to turn them into trillions and trillions and trillions of bacteria. 1 tablespoon of this casting. There's more bacteria in that tablespoon than there is people or humans on this earth. Now just think, we're going to take 2 cups of that, and I think it doubles every 24 hours or every hour. I can't remember that number. I'll post it up here what that number actually is. Okay, now I'm going to show you something that a lot of people don't put in theirs because they don't know it. Straw. Regular straw, you're going to have your chickens, your goats, your cows. What you want is a handful. When I say a handful, that's about it. That's about all you need. About a golf ball size. I don't play golf, so that's about that. Now, the reason you're putting the straw in there is you're feeding the protozoa. That's another one of those life things that's in the soil that you want. So all you want is that amount. You don't want to put more than that because you're going to put too much protozoa in there. But that's what those protozoan, or that's what feeds or helps the protozoa grow in your food. All right, now we're going to go with humic acid. GS Plant Foods Organic Liquid Humic Acid. Make sure you mix this up. you want to use this. You want 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon humic acid. Alright, the reason you want humic acid is for fungal growth. Also, I mean, this is you're going to take this and any fungi that's in here and the in there, and then another ingredient we're going to put in here. It's going to just keep building that, building that. This is going to increase the fungal dominance of your tea. Alright, let's go with, also on the molasses. A lot of people say, well, can I just use sugars? Can I use honey? The answer is yes. You can use sugar, you can use honey, because all you're doing is adding that sugar, basically, to feed the bacteria. With the molasses, it's very, very high in minerals, extremely high in iron and calcium. It's almost, I think, like 14 and 4% of what the human needs per day. But you're adding all those extra minerals in there. You can use sugars, and sugar's just sugar, or you can add the molasses, and you're getting that extra iron and calcium in there. Alright, this is the one where people make a mistake. Ours is Organic Neptune Harvest. It says fish fertilizer 241. This is hydrogenized fish fertilizer, or fish hydrolysate. Please don't mix up fish hydrolysate with fish emulsion. This stuff, when you mix it up, it actually smells. I'm not really sure how that smells. It's not a bad smell. Fish emulsion, any of you people from the south go up underneath the fishing pier or up underneath the bridge and those dead fish are up there and they're really, really funky. Okay, that's a stink. The fish emulsion is a stank. There's a difference between a stink and a stank. If you were to try to do this brew in your tea and you put fish emulsion in this tea in your house, again, you'd probably be a single person. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I'm not trying to give you any ideas. Okay, the fish hydrolysate. It is a fungus and bacterial growth enhancer. You got a little bit of fertilizer in there, but you're really feeding and boosting the fungal dominance and the bacteria in here. Also, what's in that little bottle fights off pathogens. It's another natural way to keep the bad pathogens out of your garden, off of your plants, whether if it's fruits, trees, bushes, vegetables, whatever you got. Okay, we're going to go to feather meal. You get a bottle of this, box of this feather meal. 1 tablespoon feather meal. Alright, the feather meal is a slow release nitrogen. So you're adding nitrogen into here and you're boosting those numbers up. It also has micronutrients and amino acids for your plants. That's the reason why we're using that. Again, 1 tablespoon. Alright, okay, the camera stopped, but in here, take a look at this picture. We just put bark in here, wood chips. We have a huge, huge wood chip pile out here that we just let sit, and it's just decaying. When you open and break into that wood chip pile, you're going to find all those white pieces in there. That's mycelium. So we add about a handful of that mycelium into here. At this point, we can close this up. The mycelium is another way with all of this in there to add the mycelium count, and mycelium is extremely great for your garden stuff. So we're going to take this bag, drop it in there now. I just dropped mine in there. It's got a hook where you can hook it up in here. I don't do that. I don't care. Okay, let's go kelp meal. I almost forgot about the kelp meal. So, kelp meal, again, 1 tablespoon of the kelp meal. Pour that in there. It's got good properties too. The reason we have kelp meal, it builds the fungi up. It builds the fungal dominance up out of this. It builds the bacteria up. Also, that kelp meal is high in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. So, you can take your bag now. You can mush this up real good. Mush it up. Just massage your bag. Alright, let's close this up. Unsulfurated molasses. Hey guys, if you order worms from us, we send this pamphlet in there that we made. There's our front on there, on the back, what's so great about worms. And this explains a lot of stuff from, what's going on here? The Natural Center for Biology Information. There's stuff from colleges and stuff that explain this more in depth and tell you where you can go to learn more about it. And on the inside, sorry, it's wet here, gives you a lot of information over worm castings, but has worm tea. The benefits of the worm tea that you're brewing right now. I'm going to go over a couple of things here. Excuse me. It infuses and repopulates the soil with beneficial microbes. Functions as a natural fungicide and insecticide when sprayed on both sides of the leaves and plants. So that's why this is a foliar spray. Put it in your pump-up bottle, you spray top, bottom, all your spray. If you spray all your plants, you got some left over. Pour this at the base of your plants. Now you're putting that down there for the roots to bring up. Improves the health and helps reverse the effects of disease. It's very, very strong in helping fighting plant diseases. Improves the soil structure and health. When used to water plant, it acts like a plant food to increase your yield. Again, that's the reason that we're using a lot of the other ingredients in this specific recipe for tea. Will not burn plants, as some fertilizers do. A lot of fertilizers, you know, if you put them on your plant, you're going to burn them. Too much will kill them. You can pour this straight into, right onto your plants. I'm going to move over here so I can put up a chart for you. Okay, I got my cheat sheet, but up here on the chart you'll see it's 45 to 65. If this room was between 45 and 65 degrees, as you can see according to the chart, we would need to brew this for 72 hours. Ours stays at 70 degrees down here, so ours would fall underneath the 66 to 80 degree, which means 48 hours. Right now I just put this on, let's say it's midnight. That means in 2 more midnights, I pull it off and it's ready to go. You can brew this for a little bit longer if you like. 80 to 90 degrees, 24 hours, and 90 plus degrees, 12 hours. This is all going to depend on where you're at, what your temperature is. If you're brewing this outside, your back porch, and let's say it's 60 degrees at night, 90 degrees a day, I really don't know what to tell you there, but I would choose the middle number and you run with that number, but I don't know how that actually works. We bring ours inside where it's a controlled environment, and that's where we brew it. Now, if you're bottling this stuff up to sell, let's say Saturday mornings, you're at the market and you start selling at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. What I would do is start your brewing process. You can start dechlorinating your water on Monday. Let it bubble for a couple days, get all that chlorine out of there. And then you start your process. Let's say it's going to be a 3-day process and you figure it up so that Saturday morning it'll be done. Early Saturday morning. So what you need to do to get this the freshest product to your people as possible. You start your brew process maybe Wednesday afternoon if that's what your times and temperatures tell you. So that when you get up, you get your truck packed or however you guys do that. And then you bottle Saturday morning. Bottle these up. Excuse me. You bottle these up, get them in your vehicle, get them to market, get them sold. And we use the dark amber bottles for a reason. It keeps the sun from going in here and stops the UV rays a lot. The other thing is when you're sitting at the market, if you have an open bag of castings where you can see the front, if you're selling castings where you have the opening on the front, the people can see this. Make sure the sun's behind you. Make sure this is covered. You don't want the sun coming through this plastic. Those UV rays will start killing your bacteria. If you purchase from us, you'll see on the front, Worm Castings got some information. Back here on the back is instructions on how to use your worm castings and how to make a worm tea and how to use it. This is the simple version I showed you earlier. So the way this is, in 48 hours, this tea will be ready. We'll take this, we'll get it all bottled up, get it to our customers. What we don't sell, we use ourselves. We have all kind of garden stuff around here. Even if you run out of garden space, You've sprayed all your gardens, you've wet all your gardens down, you still have product left over. You have trees in your yard, you have fruit trees, you have grass you can spray. Don't let this stuff go to waste. Go put it out there on something. Also, a lot of these chemicals that are in here help, I hate to say the word break down clay, loosen the soil of the clay. I'm not saying they're going to loosen up like fluffy stuff, but they help in that process. Alright, so you have two versions. You have the simple version that you can do at your house, which is a great product, and you have a more advanced product. If you get yourself a microscope, look at both of these teas under a microscope, you are going to be blown away on this advanced tea, on what you see underneath there. It's just a smorgasbord of things moving around. I believe that's going to cover it. Sorry for the cough. But there's two versions. Do me a favor, you got people out there that share worm teas or make worm teas, share this video. Send it to your friends, your family, garden clubs, nurseries, anybody that you might find this beneficial. We surely appreciate it. Until next time, you guys have a good time.